All she could do was just basically lie around the house. She couldn't cook, she couldn't work. And he, as a teacher, supported her. And he said, look, I'm not a monk. I'm keeping my 5 precepts. But my wife cannot satisfy me sexually. She can't do the act at all. She's completely incapacitated. He said, I'm a man. I need sort of my sexual whatever it is. And so once a week, if my wife can't serve me, I go to the brothel for once a week. He said, that's not breaking the precepts. And when he thought about it, I thought, yeah, he's correct. Because he was not being unfaithful to his wife. In fact, he was being the most caring, devoted husband you could possibly have. His wife just was incapacitated because of mental illness. In that case, I thought, okay, that's the one case I think you're right. So we look upon these issues not in black and white, get all the information, and is it really helping or harming? We find out which one it is and act accordingly. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Yeah. Correct. That's one thing you also have to look out for, sexually transmitted diseases. And obviously that if you have a partner you're committed to, they're committed to you and you're committed to them, actually you know where you stand in that area. It's one of the very, very dangerous things about sex these days. It doesn't come without a price tag. And sometimes that price tag is your life. So you've got to be careful. Yeah? Oral sex is not sex. Someone asked, what's oral sex? And they thought, just talking about it. Yeah, of course it's sex. It's a sexual act. People get excited. And it has many of the attributes of the sexual act. So yeah, I mean, it's just where you draw the line, and you can say that's sex. Okay, but oral sex is talking about it. I like that line when I read that. Dear Ajahn, reincarnation. I read a senior lama reincarnated into 2 persons. Please explain. That's called schizophrenia. It's 2. Split personality, isn't it? That's what I thought. No, it's impossible. You only go 1-to-1. People who say otherwise, they don't know the stream of consciousness and how it works. Please explain. Chanting gains merit. Why? I thought good deeds gain merit. And chanting is a good deed because if you chant with mindfulness and devotion, you're thinking about the object of your chanting, the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. Even thinking about these things is great, good merit. That's why it's good merit. However, if you chant just like a parrot, Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho, when is this going to finish? I want to get back to meditate. If it's with ill will and you've not got your heart into it, it's no merit at all. But if it's like, have you seen these little things they have with the Amitabha chanting? They chant 24 hours a day with the batteries. Seen those? Do you think that those machines make merit? That in their next life they'll be reborn as like computers or even mainframes? Perfect chanting. No, that's just a machine. Machines don't make merit, but if you act like a machine, you don't make merit either. So you have to put your heart into the chant. You have to feel it, think it. Chant from your soul, but chant from your non-self. It's much better. Put passion into your chanting. Compassion. Ajahn, a few days ago you mentioned 3 types of nodding. Can you please repeat them, as I have been nodding so much that I need to know which category I fall into? What was I saying? I think I only mentioned the 2 types of nodding. I think you must have been asleep and you must have dreamt the 3rd type. I think sometimes nodding is like sleepiness. It's just the body doing the nodding. The other type of nodding, it's not really nodding, but the chi in the body is moving your body backwards and forwards. Actually, there was a third type, I remember it now. The chi in the body. It's just, I've mentioned this to many people, when you get peaceful and calm, the body can actually heal itself, and sometimes to heal itself for the energies to flow, you have to move to the left or move to the right. Parts of your body get hot, or things start vibrating and shaking. That is just the chi, the energy flowing in the body. Leave it alone, you'll feel great afterwards. I think the third type of nodding was actually when you get piti, like a shaking with beautiful bliss. Piti is like energy, the bliss which comes in deep meditation. Sometimes you shake like that. So those are the three types of nodding. So you can find out which one is yours. I know which one it is. Next question. I have seen on some occasions some people whilst chanting going into a fit-like ecstasy, often jerking themselves uncontrollably and making strange gurgling noises. My goodness. Should we wake such people up or leave them alone? Why do they behave like this? Are these self-induced? Thank you. Okay, sometimes that people do go a little bit crazy. If they're like schizophrenic, especially, if they sort of start to hear voices and stuff like that, they chant and get so inspired, the energy might go in the wrong places. Most of you haven't got that problem at all. So most people when they're chanting don't go into trances, especially if you're mindful, you're alert, you're watching what you're doing. So be careful. Sometimes people are chanting in the morning when we first get up and they forget to stop. You sort of start Ittipiso Bhagava Arahang Buddhang Abhipujayami, then you go straight away into Suwakato Bhagavata Dhamma. You forget to bow because you're just going on automatic pilot. Sometimes that happens. People keep on doing the 8 precepts, Parnati Pata Viramani, and they get to Ucha Sayana Mahasayana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. They keep on going, Parnati Pata Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Adina Dhanavara. They forget to, because they're not mindful. So be mindful. Be alert when you're chanting. Then you don't go into a trance. So usually there's no problem there. But if you do see someone who goes into those trance, then you just tell them, be mindful next time. Be alert. The chanting is there for a purpose, to bring up this energy of devotion to the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. The Buddha is the peaceful one. The Buddha never danced. The Sangha never threw their arms up all over the place. So out of respect for the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, shh, you body be calm. Dear Ajahn, do Buddhas and Arahats still exist in the realm of perception and non-perception, as Ajahn Brahm was said to be preached by them during his striving for enlightenment? The answer is that these were nimittas, these were visions which came up, these weren't real Arahats. Remember what I was saying about when you leave your body and you see this beautiful light, and you add what you expect to be there, whether it's the Virgin Mary or Uncle George. Remember that simile yesterday? This is what happens in nimittas. Nimittas come up in the mind, and you make them into arahats. But you're not really arahats, you know that. It's just the way you interpret the message. You're just seeing the Dhamma. And the Dhamma, you give it a body, just to sort of make it more intelligible. But it's the Dhamma you're seeing. When the arahats are arahats, they're gone, no longer around. They say that again and again, this is my last life, there's no more of this. They disappear, no longer to be seen. But the Dhamma still exists. So what Ajahn Brahm then, he was seeing the Dhamma, not the people. Is it all right to be attached to triple gems? So much that I dreamt of Ajahn so many times. Isn't that nice? Yes, you can be attached to the triple gem. The Buddha said this triple gem, the eightfold path, is like a raft which takes you from one shore to the next shore. If you are travelling in the raft of the eightfold path, it is good, wise policy to be attached to that raft, especially when you are in midstream. You can let go of the raft when you're an arahat, but please do not let go of it before then. Otherwise, you will come to grief and drown. So attach to your precepts, attach to meditation, attach to wisdom, attach to your teachers, attach to jhanas, attach to mindfulness, until you can say, I'm an arahat. When you can say that, then you can let go of them, but you find you can't anyway, because that's you. You become the path. The point is that some people say, oh, attachment is bad, I've got to let go of everything. They let go of their precepts, first of all. They let go of the things which, not the things which are good for them, the things which are bad for them. They keep those, they let go of the good things. They let go of their precepts, they let go of their meditation. Let go, let go, let go. So I'm going to just watch the television and let go. I'm going to eat as much as I can. Let go. I'm not attached to my figure. I'm not attached to my health. I'm not attached to my job. That's stupid stuff. So, if you have a vehicle, you've got to be attached to it. You can't let go midstream. So, you attach to the raft until you've taken you across. Then you can let go. So, be attached to the triple gem. In Vajrayana, my friend told me his teacher is the Dharmakaya of Maitreya Buddha. His teacher has a lot of disciples and tells his experience of psychic powers and claims many have gone to hell criticizing him. Comment, please. If anyone criticizes me, I forgive you straight away. I've already told you this. I forgive you in the past, in the present, and in the future. So you can criticize me tomorrow. No, you've already been forgiven. I give you credit forgiveness. You have unlimited credit to criticize me as much as you like, and I'll always forgive you. So that way you can never go to hell for criticizing me. Isn't that wonderful? So the trouble is, when I hear that, I'm not sure who the teacher is, but I say, well, if you believe in me, you go to heaven. If you criticize me, you go to hell. That sounds like one of the cults to me. That's actually true, because a good teacher would never say that. They'd say, no, you can actually go to heaven. You believe in me or you don't. Believe in the Dhamma, the truth, not in me. Ajahn Brahm is just a bundle of 5 khandhas. That's all he is. He eats baked beans and mashed potatoes in the morning because I was born in England. It's not my fault. My genes. So that way, you don't worship the person. You worship the Dhamma. So it could be that your friend is the Dharmakaya of Maitreya Buddha. It's not Maitreya Buddha, just the Buddha is the Buddha is the Buddha. So if you're the Dharma of the Buddha, then actually that's your teachings. The teachings are the main thing. So you worship the teachings, you never worship the person. And that's why the people said, this was a problem with Wakali, one of the Buddha's disciples, who had so much faith in the Buddha, just wanted to follow him around, just to look at him all day. And just gazing at the Buddha, or just had so much happiness looking at the face of the Buddha. And after a while the Buddha said, look, Wakali, you didn't become a monk to be attached to this old body which is stinking, which is falling apart. It's to the Dhamma. And that was the Buddha who told Wakali, he who sees the Dhamma sees the Buddha, Wakali. That's who the Buddha is, the Dhamma, not this body. And eventually Wakali understood, became an arahat. So, it's not the teacher you worship, it's the Dhamma. And no teacher has a franchise on the Dhamma. You can't patent the 4 Noble Truths and say, I am the only one who can teach this. You have to learn it from me. I am the only way. You can't get the franchise. The truth is like the air. People can bottle it and try and sell it, but that's being stupid because the air is all around you. It was found recently in the UK, this company, I think it was a subsidiary of Coca-Cola, was selling this bottled water until they found out it was literally taken from the taps of the Thames Valley Water Authority, put in a bottle and sold as spring water. Coca-Cola was doing this. It was from the taps, my goodness, but they were putting it in a bottle and selling it. That's like some religious teachers. The truth is the air. It's there for you to breathe. I don't own the truth. Find it out for yourself. I'm trying to get rid of disciples, not gain more. So you can criticize me as much as you like. Please go for it and leave me alone. So that's the problem there. Sometimes it sounds like if you tell your experience of psychic powers, good monks don't tell about their psychic powers. And the reason why is because they don't want to gain more disciples. It's not just a marketing ploy. Sometimes that's what it is. I tell you all my psychic powers. My goodness, Ajahn Brahm's got psychic powers. Our teacher's better than your teacher. Nah. So we don't do that. We don't compare. It's no pride. There's no conceit about one teacher being better than another. There's no conceit about Mahayana being better than Theravada, or Theravada being more original than Mahayana, or Vajrayana being the best teaching. That's conceit. No one has got a franchise on the truth. It's free for everybody. Does that make sense? Okay. Dear Ajahn, I have 2 questions, please. Question 1, should we communicate with the mind when it is in a steady, peaceful state? I mentioned that just the first thing this morning. If it's a steady, peaceful state, you can give it a couple of hints, but no more than that. If it's really peaceful, don't give any nudges at all. If you get into nibbana stages, don't even try to nudge the mind. If you try that, very often it all falls apart. But in the early stages of the meditation, you can nudge it a little bit. Give a couple of orders to your taxi driver and it works. How do we get the peaceful mind to be back in the normal state quicker when coming out of meditation? Look, it's so hard to get the peaceful mind. Try and get the peaceful mind back to the normal state slower. Enjoy it as long as you like. However, if you're out there in the world and you're meditating, you get very, very peaceful. You just got to ease yourself back into normal consciousness. It takes a while. Sometimes you've got no choice of the matter. I tell the story when I did my 6-month silent retreat. Imagine how quiet and peaceful I got for 6 months. Never saw anybody or spoke to anybody. And then as soon as I finished my 6-month retreat, everybody wanted to find out what I was up to. What did you do? What did you see? And so people started talking to me. And it was just so hard. I had a headache for 3 days. Because I had to get my mind moving again. I had to start thinking. And it was just so hard. So I forced myself to start thinking again and start speaking, because I had to. And that's why it gave me a headache. It would be much better actually to take it over a whole week or something. Next time I do that, I give myself maybe a week to come out. The calmer you are, the more peaceful you are, the longer it takes, obviously. So just allow it to happen naturally. Dear Ajahn, I have heard from Christian friends that Christian preachers and spiritual healers have been able to heal the sick. If there's no creator God, where do they get the powers from to heal the sick? Why is it that the Buddhist monks with great powers do not heal the sick? Of course we heal the sick. My goodness, we do all this chanting. Many people actually get healed much better by Buddhist monks. Is it not an act of compassion to heal the sick if they're able to do so? Please enlighten us on this. I have healed many sick people in my life. Continue to do so. If anybody has any doubts about this, let's come back to science. There was an experiment done in USA. It was I did have this quote, I think it's in the Journal of something psychiatry in December 1998. It was an experiment which was done in many hospitals in the US to see the effect of distant healing, either chanting or praying. It was a brilliant experiment. They wanted to find out whether this praying, healing business actually works. And so they got Buddhist monks, they got Christian priests, they got Jewish rabbis, and indigenous Indians, Red Indians, the shamans. They gave them a list of names. Half the names were fake, just made up. Half the names were patients in the hospitals of California suffering from AIDS. Those patients who had AIDS, half of them were on the list, half of them weren't. And they did not know that they were being prayed on or chanted for. It wasn't just Christians, it wasn't just Buddhists, it was Jewish rabbis and even indigenous Indians. And they gave the doctors in his hospitals a very simple questionnaire over the 2 weeks or month of chanting or praying, whatever else the religion did to heal their sick. The questionnaire was, in those 2 weeks, is that particular